Okay guys, so this is part 2 of my full review, and if you have not watched the part 1, please pause here. The link is in the description, or you can click on the top right corner and watch that video and then watch this. And this part 2 covers things like audio, camera performance, etc. And if you have watched part 1, please continue with part 2. The link is in the description or in the top right corner. Coming to the fifth point, which is the loudspeakers. Loudspeakers are actually loud. They deserve to be called loudspeakers because they are loud. I mean, I have never heard any other speaker phone which are so loud. It has a dual speaker, stereo speakers, and the sound coming out of them is not boomy, it's not bassy like some other phones used to offer. So it's not that great in terms of how it feels to your ears, but it's loud and its stereo effect is in place. It's surrounded with DTS technology, tuned by DTS, I would say. So sound audio wise, the loudspeakers are really loud. I mean, if you are using as an individual, I often reduce my volume because it's way too loud. Coming to the audio department, we will definitely talk about headphones because this is something which most other mobiles definitely miss in today's world. They have taken a track of iPhone, and this phone is bold. The makers are bold. They have included a 3.5mm audio jack. But one thing I always missed is that, let's say I'm using Spotify, I cannot equalize my audio. I mean, maybe third-party softwares are there, but something which works out of the box. So there were very less customization in terms of equalizers. But a very good thing which I liked about this mobile is that you can use equalizer on any app because the equalizer is kind of default when you set it. So it's using DTS Ultra, and when you use the equalizer, when you tweak it, it works on any app by default. So it's Spotify, YouTube, the normal music mode. Whatever you play on, that equalizer will be effective and it will work with any app, and it works with Bluetooth and it works with wired headset. So trust me, some of the music loving people, they will love these features because usually I mean, with time we are accustomed to hearing so lively music, so V-signatured or boomy bassy music, that we sometimes feel the normal music coming out of the apps like Spotify or YouTube are flat. But you can do that, you can equalize that, which is a very big thumbs up. Usually other manufacturers, a lot of them will not offer this feature. So that is there, and headphone is there, and it works flawlessly. The sound coming out of it is really good, so a big thumbs up. Now coming to the construction of this mobile, guys, you see this light blinking. I'll show you the close-up. This phone is a beauty to your eyes. The Asus people, the guys, the developers, the manufacturers, the designers, they were bold enough to take this route. Instead of using the full screen like bezel-less and everything infinity display, they went ahead, included notches on top and bottom to place some really good outstanding speakers, and they definitely work. And the screen is big, plus with the bezels, the design, the whole setup of the mobile is big, but it looks beautiful, guys, and it's functional, it's practical. I mean, a lot of ghost touches are there when you use infinity displays. There are softwares curbing that, there are softwares suppressing that, but still those things are there. And this mobile was targeted for gamers, plus normal users can definitely use it. And for gamers, it makes a lot of sense to have at least some bezels in the top and the bottom part. On the behind construction, I'm not sure what magic they do, what research went into this, but the back portion, it looks flawless. It looks like a budget sports car, like some YouTuber said it's like a budget sports car. It's so beautiful, it's so well constructed. The aerodynamic opening in the back, I mean, that is what they name it, ROG aerodynamic system. It's like a vent for the internal heating, copper, vapor chambers and all things. So it has a like, I mean, do you believe that in the world of IP68 and waterproof rating, they went with a design which has an opening to the internals of the phone, not the circuitry, but it has an opening, it has a physical opening, a vent, air vent. And I mean, look at this, everything makes sense. It's so geometric, it's so well placed. So on design wise and on the air triggers, I mean, who thought of offering air triggers on the first place. Their decision was perfect, and all the gamers, they just bow in front of that guy who decided on this air triggers. It is something which is very practical for gamers, at least. So I mean, this metal and glass construction, it makes sense, it's beautiful, and on design perspective, I would definitely rate it 8.5 out of 10, because come on guys, let's leave some area of improvement even for the Asus people who already delivered something very practical, very beautiful. Now coming to the camera department, it offers 48 megapixel primary IMX Sony 586 sensor, which you will find on the K20 Pro from Redmi, and OnePlus 70 Pro. They all use, to the best of my knowledge, Sony IMX 586 sensor. So it's the same sensor which was going on in 2019 in every top-notch mobile performers. So primary gear sensor is the normal 48 megapixel. The secondary camera is the ultra wide sensor, which is, let me check, 12 megapixel. No, 30 megapixel for the wide angle, and for the front it's 24 megapixel. Pics coming out of them are not extraordinary, but they are great. See, a lot of people have bashed this mobile a little bit, at least for its camera department, but it was targeted for the gamers, and they did not even miss out the normal consumers, because the normal consumers expect it to deliver some great snaps out of the box, and they did use the same hardware. On software side, they are not using very aggressive HDR or very aggressive processing, but they are delivering the colors, if you have seen other YouTube reviewers, the colors are great. The HDR mode, it works, and the pics coming out of them are, what should I call, not over processed. They look appealing, they look pleasing, they look natural to the eyes. And look out these sample shots which I shot. So on camera department, it is not the beast in the world, but it is not a slug from any corner. These snappers, these three cameras, it doesn't offer telephoto lens, but there are some of the hits and misses they had to do to curb the cost, maybe the design, whatever decision went through it. But the camera, they work, they are great, and you should not ignore this mobile just for the sake that its camera is 9 or its camera is 19 out of 20 in front of OnePlus. Now one thing very important, curious question which people usually ask, you will see there are two ports which looks like flash. The upper one is actually flash, the lower one, usually people don't know the use of it. It's actually an RGB light which works when you put in the Asus their own proprietary armor case, the back case. What happens is that light travels from that point of contact to the down ROG logo and Asus. It's the same concept used by this ROG logo. Let me turn it on in a second. Yep. So it works when you put in that case. The case has NFC in it, so it gets activated, it recognizes it the moment you put it on. So that is why it's put it there. It's not just meant for aesthetic purpose. It has a purpose, but you have to pay extra for to get some use out of that purpose. So that is why there is another point which looks like flash. Now coming to the updates. Asus has a reputation of giving updates, but they do miss the deadlines. I mean, they deliver a bit late than other companies. So Android 10 is already running on OnePlus, and as a beta version already running on many of the mobiles, but we are still waiting for Android 10, which is supposed to come at least by the end of February, if not the beginning of March. So they do deliver, trust me guys, they do put out updates, but they are a bit slow in that. So every mobile has some bugs. This might have a bit more than Samsung or the iPhones or the Pixels, because they go through a lot of testing, but usually they try to resolve those bugs in the next security patch or next major release, Android release, or next updates. Just look at this mobile and look at its ecosystem and look how it performs. See the results, look out for the reviews, and I'm pretty sure you will make up your mind very soon, because the price at which this phone is being offered to you in the market, I don't think so any other gaming mobile can be offered. And let me tell you a theory. The moment this mobile was launched outside India, it was expected that the moment it will come in India, it will cost around at least 50,000 for the normal variant. taken from the cues of other gaming mobiles, the specs sheet it has to offer, and its predecessor, the ROG One. But to everyone's surprise, and yeah, everybody got surprised when this was launched at 39,000, 38,000 to be precise, I think. And the 12GB one, 512GB variant, it's expensive, it's around 60k, but this is around 38k. This phone made a lot of sense, and that is why it sold out like a hot cake the moment it was launched. And I'm pretty sure every gamer would have not thought that they would get their hands on this very beautiful mighty beast at such a low price. So for gaming, just close your eyes. I'm pretty sure no other mobile is going to come close to it in terms of everything. It's not just the performance, it's not just the Snapdragon 855 plus processor, it's not just the cooling it offers, it's everything when taken combined together and put it in this solid piece of glass and metal. It makes sense. That's all I can say. So for gamers, let's close the debate. This is the best mobile, hands down. So guys, let's conclude this thing. It's time of the year when a lot of new mobiles are about to come. Mobile World Congress and Barcelona here and there, lot of sales, lot of press conferences are coming up, and you will see a lot of mobiles. But remember one thing, we always want, trust me, we always at any point of time, we always want the best out of the world, the best technology present in the world, even if it does not make sense. We are curious to try it, and curiosity and day-to-day use, these are two different aspects. If you are curious about something, definitely give it a try, but don't invest in it, because maybe that will not make a sense on day-to-day use. A lot of mobiles are going with completely curved displays. It's covering all the edges right now, and I'm not saying they are bad decisions, but some people, they don't change their mobile phones very often, and they need something which will work, which will make sense on day-to-day use, which will not break on the very small fall or a hit here and there. So think of those factors before you decide to buy a mobile which is more than 40k or more than, I would say, $600 if you are in US or any other country. So if anything you are thinking of buying more than $600, think again. You're buying it for the sake of its practicality, or you are buying it for the sake because it has the best thing to offer. This mobile, this Asus ROG 2, it's not 2020 ready. It's even not 2019 when it comes to its design decisions. It doesn't has notch, it doesn't has bezel-less display, and it's not IP waterproof or splash proof or any rated. But this design makes sense to a lot of people when you look closely. It has a great camera, it has a great performance, battery backup is out of the world, and the screen quality was out of the world at that time. Now people are about to launch 120 FPS AMOLED displays. So if you look closely, this phone makes a lot of sense. On-screen fingerprint sensor might be a little bit laggy, but it's not something which will break your decision to not go with this mobile. So if you truly look for day-to-day use, this mobile will make sense for at least next 2 years. It's not 5G ready, but not most of the phones are. And if you're in India, don't expect 5G to be very perfect in the coming few months or anything. If of that matter, they are trying really hard, I know. So this beautiful, I mean, I will not call it a case, but protective guard, let's call it protection guard. This makes sense. It doesn't hide your mobile's look and beauty, and it still protects your mobile from little bit of bumps and hits, and your phone is still functional. It looks beautiful. So if you look closely into it, Asus is trying to make a mark in the market, and they did succeed in making a mark. And this phone does make sense even in 2020 and will make sense even in 2021. So if you are confused between OnePlus 70 or Redmi K30 is coming out, I will tell you one thing. Take it with a grain of salt, but the phones coming out in 2020 will be better than this for sure. That is the bare minimum they have to do. But I don't know, there is something in this mobile you cannot just avoid it. It misses on the camera front, that's all. That's the biggest miss. if you want to compare it with the likes of Samsung or iPhone or LG or any other companies which produces excellent camera mobiles, pixels, apart from that, everything is top notch. A screen, even though not an infinity display, it functions, it makes sense, it's beautiful. So with that in mind, I would say yes, it's worth your money in 2020. It will keep on functioning, and it's a good decision if you go with it. If you want to wait, definitely wait, look out for the mobiles. If they come into the same budget and if they offer same or even better features, definitely go with it. But from the duration it came out to this January of 2020, this device has been approved by almost every YouTuber, by almost every user, power user, and it has been functioning so far so good. So if you decide to go with this, you will not go wrong with it. If you want to know the in-depth camera review, I will do that. If you really want it, I will definitely do it. And if you have any questions in your mind, do post your comment. I will try to answer this as soon as possible. I know this review was, or this was not a review, this was kind of a casual talk which I was trying to express that this device makes sense. It kind of went a bit lengthy, but that is how I try to do. My videos are a bit lengthy because I try to put in as much information as possible.